Chapter 1. James is the one, I told myself. I'll die if he leaves me. Tapping my phone every 2 minutes, I huffed and puffed every time I didn't see a reply. I'd try to look away from the screen for 10 seconds or so, but sometimes I couldn't go 5 seconds without flipping the phone over again. No text, not even dots. We'd been dating for 2 weeks. We'd hung out twice, once for dinner and once at his house. James and I couldn't have sex because I'd just had a gynecological procedure, electrocuting my cervix to zap precancerous cells that were the gift of HPV. Otherwise, we most definitely would have done it. I actually considered going against the doctor's orders and doing it anyway, because who waits to have sex? I had met James, wonderful, sweet, handsome James, on Tinder, but he lived just down the street from me, which I took as a sign that we were meant to be. There I was, 26 years old, a perfect age to be when you'd find the one. He was in construction, I thought, and our first 2 dates went so well, I could tell we had a future together. Tap, tap, tap. Nothing. Blank screen. My last text to him read, I'm not really friends with men because I'll likely sleep with them or fall in love with them, or both. I think we'd been talking about how he had a lot of female friends in his life. I was jealous and wanted to share why so few men were present as friends in my life. That's totally normal, right? Not to have male friends because you can't stop yourself from sleeping with them. 20 minutes passed, an hour, then 2 hours with no response. Why wasn't he texting me back? It was probably nothing. He was probably just busy. Or was it something? Was he already tired of me? Had I done something wrong? I wasn't good enough. That had to be it. Not good enough for perfect James. I took quick, choppy breaths as I stomped across my apartment, thinking while I paced. I hadn't blown everything by texting something stupid, had I? Something lame? Something weird? Needy? Clingy? What? What was it? I read my text again. And again. It was okay, I thought. Nothing in there made me sound crazy. So why wasn't James answering? Didn't he know how much he meant to me? I was aware this was a routine, being obsessed with the idea of having a future with someone I barely knew, but told myself this was normal. This was what it meant to fall for someone. This was how real relationships started. I thought maybe I should try to meditate, but the thumping and booming and churning in my chest made it clear there was no way I was going to sit still. I stared at the green meditation cushion on my floor. It seemed to look back at me with judging eyes. I didn't meditate, and instead went to bed. The next day was a Saturday, and at 10 a.m., there was still no word from James. But he and I had made plans. We'd said we were going to hang out on Saturday. Why hadn't he confirmed? By then, I was a frazzled wreck of anxiety with a death rattle throughout my stomach and chest. I couldn't bear the idea of losing him. It would be the death of me. He was the one. I shot him another text. Hey, what time do you plan on coming over? Then I sat there in my painted-on makeup and red dress that hugged my curves. For a few minutes, silence. Nothing. I felt the tightness in my chest. Then I heard a buzz. I looked down at my phone and felt firecrackers going off throughout my entire body. He answered. Now, after almost 14 hours of torture, he answered. To be quite honest, I'm still taken aback by your text last night. I don't know if I want to come over. I gripped my phone. My eyes darted around the room. My breathing became shallow and fast. I needed him to come over. I was desperate for him to come over. I needed to know that he still wanted me. I had cleaned my apartment. I'd showered and made up my face and put on a sexy dress. He had to come over to be with me. I tapped and replied, Do you want to talk about it?